Hey guys, this is James Cook, concert photographer extraordinaire, and you're watching Porch Talk with Spade.
This episode of Porch Talk is brought to you by Campania, the #1 meta advertising agency on the Gulf Coast. They generate real leads, guarantee return on investment, and here's the kicker: no contracts. They earn your business month after month, so if you're ready to scale your business and actually see results, follow the link in the description and give Campania a chance to show you what they can do for you and your business. Massive Media. As a comprehensive service provider, they not only secure impactful bookings for their artists, but also provide strategic management, cutting-edge public relations, and targeted social media solutions. Their team of dedicated professionals is passionate about crafting success stories and believes in the transformative power of music. We are Massive, where the rhythm of creativity meets the pulse of success. Contact Massive Media at massivemediams.com or follow the link in the description.
Kohl's Custom Flooring. They offer subfloor repairs, custom showers and backsplashes, and install all flooring materials, as well as multiple custom design layouts, delivering quality installs at an affordable price.
Inkwave Media, the one-stop shop for all your custom design needs. At Inkwave Media, we bring your vision to life. Follow the link in the description.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 to Porch Talk with Spade. I'm here with my buddy, James Cook. What's up, James?
How's it going, everybody?
So, we got James in, and if anybody don't know who James is, he is a awesome photographer that is local, shoots around New Orleans, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, I'm mainly a concert photographer. I go everywhere that anybody will pay me, but I mainly shoot on the Gulf Coast and all over New Orleans. I got into photography professionally probably about 4 years ago now, right about the start of the pandemic. I got laid off from my corporate job and took that opportunity to do what I really wanted to do in life. And I like to say that's when I quit working, and I've kind of been on vacation ever since, it feels like.
I've been seeing that a lot lately. I've been seeing a lot of artists come about like right around the pandemic area.
I think a big part of it too was, at least for me, I got laid off from my job, so unemployment was crazy.
Right.
So it wasn't like I had to rush and go find another job. I had this ability of a good 6 months to a year
Right.
to have my bills paid and go figure out what I wanted to do.
Man,
So I took that opportunity and seized it.
you definitely are. You definitely are flying great right now. I've been watching your
Thanks,
work, and it is amazing. If anybody hasn't seen the work, I will have some links down below to check it out. You need to check out James's stuff. So, recently you done Jazz Fest, man. Tell us about that. How's that?
That was a really cool opportunity. I was able to get on with the Jazz and Heritage Foundation archive team. It was a pretty big deal. They only accepted 2 new people to the team this year, and they selected the 2 new people out of 150 applications. You were only allowed to submit 6 photos and a short paragraph as to why you thought you'd be a good fit. And coming from, I had 0 festival experience at the time, so the photos I was submitting were, dark theaters, so I was kind of worried that was going to set me back, but they liked my work and got me on the team, and it was a really cool opportunity. It was a volunteer opportunity, not my favorite types, but to be able to have that full access at a big event like Jazz Fest and shoot some of those big names was the best opportunity I've had so far.
Do you shoot any of like the local bands around New Orleans?
All the time. I'm good friends with a bunch of them.
Name them. I want to know who.
Yeah.
I want to know who you know so far.
I'd say my favorite are probably Holly Rock.
And
those guys are also an Iceman Special. Those are all really good guys. Some of my favorite music and some of my favorite guys to shoot. I've worked with Flow Tribe a lot.
I heard of them.
Bakey's Brew, Zoomst. Just to name a couple.
What venues have you shot in New Orleans so far?
I would say the most have probably been the Joy Theater and Toulouse Theater. I shoot at House of Blues and Tipitina's a lot.
I love that place, the House of Blues.
House
the
of
way
Blues
they
is
got
good.
all the names in the backstage area.
It's such a New Orleans venue.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely is. Like everything, it seems like everything was like built like in the 1800s right there, and
It
they
does.
just modernized it so much.
It does, and it turns up in the photos.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Who have you shot there?
I shot. Actually, I did. I went on a tour with Transient, and I'm trying to think of Seven, a band called Seven, and a band called Transient, and they did a show there. And yeah, I got to hang out backstage with them and got to see all that amazing. The names. I mean, there was like Eminem up there, and
Yeah.
I was like, and that's all the bands that's been there before. It's just really cool to see stuff like that, and but that's the only time I've ever shot there. And before I shot there, I think I went to go see Seven Dust there one time. So I was a person watching at one time, and I got to shoot it one time. So it was really fun.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Have you ever shot at the Southport Hall?
I have. I've shot Flow Tribe at the Southport Hall.
That is a good place. I recently done 12 Stones there, and that was an awesome show. I haven't shot. What's the other one that there's Southport Hall, House of Blues. There's another one.
Tipitina's is one of my favorites.
Is that a big venue too?
It's not too big. I would say it's close to the size of House of Blues, but they pull some big names in there, and
Really?
they've been open forever. I hear, my mom talks about going there back when she was my age.
It's in New Orleans, right?
It is. It's not too far off the river, off Tchoupitoulas, and it's just. I think one of my favorite things there is their green room is just really amazing.
Right.
And so I make it a point anytime that I'm shooting a band there to make sure that I've got backstage access, because it's just the best place to do little portraits, backstage. It's such a vibe.
It's so cool to see you already shooting big venues, big name bands.
Yeah, it's crazy. I haven't even been shooting for a year and a half yet. As far as concerts go.
I'm so local that I haven't. Your resume on big bands is huge than compared to mine,
I think we were talking about this the other day. For me, it was just a matter of asking. I really got surprised early on once I had a little bit of a portfolio going, just from taking my camera to places where I was allowed to. It was just a matter of asking, and I was really surprised as to how many people were saying yes.
Right.
And so once I started realizing that, I just started sending emails like crazy.
So to give a good rundown for any other photographer, videographer looking to shoot bigger venues for bigger touring bands, James, give some of these guys some insight on what's the tools of the trade to do it.
So the hard part in all of it is finding the right person to reach out to. And because you can send messages on Instagram and Facebook, but especially when you're talking about these bigger bands, you don't have somebody monitoring that inbox. And so that's the biggest hurdle, is finding who you have to reach out to. And something that really helped me early on is there's these Facebook groups and Reddit groups specifically for concert photographers, and they all share contact emails, and there's spreadsheets out there for management companies, their PR reps, their media coordinators. And so once I was able to find out who to reach out to, then I started leveraging the tools I had at my disposal. So I went straight to ChatGPT and was like, hey.
Best tool of the trade right there.
I mean, everybody, if you're not using it, start there.
Absolutely.
And I said, hey, put together a marketing email. I'm a photographer. I'm reaching out to this band for this date, and here's my portfolio. And it started spitting out really great emails. And I think the biggest thing that really helped me too when putting out emails is having a call to action in your email. Because if you just have them and you're saying, hey, I want to reach out, I'd love to shoot on this date, and maybe they've already got somebody or maybe they're not interested, you're probably just not going to get a reply. So what I would do is I would put some sort of call to action in there and say, hey, take a look at my work, and is there something that stands out to you? Or ask some sort of question that isn't just, can I come and shoot on this day? And that way I'm getting some sort of reply. Even if it's a no, I know that it's a good email, it's a good contact person. And so that's probably the thing that has gotten me, the most yeses,
This man is giving game out. Get your pen out and write it down. It's absolutely phenomenal for you to tell people this, because, the first year or two, I didn't know what to do. I was asking questions everywhere, and when I first started emailing these PR reps and whatnot, and the media teams, and I was putting together paragraphs after paragraphs, and I found out that was hurting me more than anything. It was just too much I was trying to say in one email, and they just toss it away. Once I was able to get it down to a couple, informative sentences and some of my work, and I was getting more reactions,
And even beyond the emails, this is definitely one of those businesses that it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And making connections in this industry for a photographer that's trying to get into it, that's the biggest piece of advice I could give is start meeting people, start asking questions, because it's not always just about can you take photos. You also got to be a cool person that they want to surround themselves with, that they want to let into the circle, into the backstages, and if you're not a likable person, that can't communicate with people and make friends really easily, you're not going to have success, and I think that when you're first getting started, reaching out to the people that run the venues are some of the best friends that you can have.
Right.
Because even if you're not getting paid to go do a shoot, they are the people that you want to really help out, because they're the people that already have all the email addresses for all the bands that come there.
Absolutely.
And so having someone like that's your best friend, that isn't in with all these bands, it's priceless.
Have you ever got in contact with the band or ever worked with a band that was truly a nightmare?
A nightmare. I wouldn't say nightmare. No, I haven't had a really terrible experience. I think the most that I've had or the kind of worst I've had is I've had an artist that I sent the photos, and they're like, hey, but we really don't like this. Can you change up this on your editing? And they were just asking me to be somebody I'm not,
right.
And I think that it was pretty evident at that point that they didn't take a look at my work before booking me.
Right.
And they had an idea of how they wanted the photos to look, and that's not my style.
Right.
But
seems like you were very, very professional about it by telling them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I even I tried to do what I could to kind of help them out, and they were looking for more basic promotional stuff. And while I can do that, it's not my focus. I'm always trying to have this balance of taking photos that look, just like you were there, that are more documenting exactly what happened versus my artistic flair that I like to put on things.
That's what I like about photography or videography. There's not two of the same photographer.
Yeah.
We're all unique in our own little way,
Yes.
our own little fashion. Everybody has their own little niche.
Yeah.
And it's something, and not only that, us photographers, I worked with God knows handfuls and handfuls, and they are the type of people that want to eat at the table with you, not take the food off of the table with you.
I tell you, I haven't met a photographer that wasn't super helpful.
Right.
I will say, at least in our region, the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, every photographer I've connected with has been so excited to help. And I think the biggest reason behind that is because this is a huge music culture here in our area, and there is more work than there are good photographers.
Man, I can't express that enough.
Yeah.
There's enough on the table for everybody.
If you're a good photographer, you're going to have no problem getting jobs. It's just a matter of putting in that work, getting that portfolio together, and putting yourself out there.
Do you have a photographer that's considered like a mentor?
Yeah, I have a couple, actually.
You want to speak those real quick? You want to mention those?
Yes, I'll mention one by name. One photographer that's become a really good friend of mine is Rob Krieger. You probably know the name. He's on Fox 8 News every single morning.
That sounds familiar.
In New Orleans. But in his free time, he's really into music and taking photographs, and he even occasionally travels to some festivals. He was just at Bonnaroo this past weekend. I met him at a festival that's put on by the Iceman Special and Holly Rock. Those guys, they put on their own festival called Fête Devoid. I got on with that festival last October, and he's the guy that kind of runs all of the media for that, and we hit it off immediately. And he's been such a huge influence. on me. He's one of those photographers that whenever I see his work, I'm like, damn, I wish I took that photo. You know, and he's always there anytime I have a question to guide me, and he speaks very highly of me, and has referred me to some really great people.
Dee Dee Cole is mine. She is a photographer out of Pensacola, Florida.
Okay.
And she was my mentor and I've never met her for the first 2 to 3 years of my career as a photographer, videographer. I never met her, never shook hands with her, but she would feed me information. Hey, look out for this. Hey,
Yeah.
you need to start adjusting this a little bit more and she helped me become the photographer I am today. So shout out, big love to Dee Dee Cole, and I forever thankful, you know.
Yeah.
But finally, I think it was like 4 months ago, I went to Pensacola and shot a band. It was like a Limp Bizkit tribute band, and she showed up at the venue, and I was
Just
finally,
randomly?
yeah, I was just like, oh, it's like I met a superhero or something. So shout out Dee Dee, much love. So, what kind of work you got coming up? You have anything special coming up?
I think that what I'm most excited about right now is that band Holly Rock. I was telling you, once again, they're really great friends of mine. Go check them out. They've got a new album coming out. They're doing a big album release party at the Toulouse Theater on July 11th. I've shot probably 90% of the shows that they've played in the last 6 months to a year.
That's awesome.
And mostly just because I love their music. That's some of my favorite music, even though I'm a little biased because I'm friends with them, but I listen to it in my free time constantly, and I'm most excited about that. And then secondly, I'll say this is something else that's actually at the Toulouse Theater as well. My cousin has become a producer and DJ. Her name's Leilani. She goes by Juzz Bunny with two Z's. And it's kind of her first bigger show in New Orleans, at a show called Cinedance. And I don't have anything big names booked, I guess. We've got Steve Miller Band coming up at the Sound. Counting Crows is going to be there a different date as well. But, you know, the bigger ones aren't the ones I get most excited about anymore. Unless it's like a band that's nostalgic for me.
Right.
I've been able to have that opportunity to shoot one of my favorite bands from high school. But the stuff I get really excited about are seeing my friends succeed and get opportunities, and me being there to photograph them, to help promote them.
That's awesome,
and help
man.
them grow.
That's awesome. So I know this year you was nominated all the way up to top 3.
So were you.
That's
how we met.
Yeah, that's dang true. Yeah, that's how we met.
We both got robbed. Love you, Samantha, though.
Yeah, love you, Samantha. No, Samantha's a very, very, very good photographer.
All 3 of us deserve
man.
it, absolutely.
So Ellie's the one that makes the awards.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to make you and James one too as well.
Yes. Yes.
Like, hell yeah.
I need one.
So
I think that was what I was probably more disappointed about than anything, is getting there and seeing what the awards looked like.
Right.
And then not leaving with one. I was more mad about that than actually being crowned.
So that's the first time I ever heard of you either. I never knew you was a
I haven't
local.
been around that long.
Yeah. I was like, who's this James guy? And because I've gotten the top 5s, top 3s with Samantha for the past 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And here's this James dude. And I was just like, what? We got another brother here?
Yeah.
It's like another addition to the family. And I asked Samantha, and I was like, who's James? She was like, I've never met him.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at your work. I'm like, holy shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not winning this shit.
Well, I'll say this: that award show, you know, it's a popularity contest. It's how many people you can get to vote for you.
Right. It is.
And I think that, which is why you and I, it's not a huge deal that we didn't win. It doesn't hurt your ego.
No.
You know, and which is why I'm so happy for Samantha.
Yeah.
You know, and she really is a fucking great photographer.
Yeah, she really is.
And so I have no problems losing to her, no problems losing to you. The fact that I can say, hey, I was nominated into the top 3 for that in my first 12 months
That's
of
what
shooting,
I like about it too.
Of shooting concerts, it was a dream come true for me.
Right.
Just to be named with you guys, I mean, was really cool.
Being on the roster with the top name artists is what I care about. Knowing that I'm being seen and noticed like that is really. And for you, only on a short period of time, I wasn't on any awards or even nominated for the first 2 years. Yeah. Maybe I was just not pushing myself, but
I'll speak back to kind of how I got started, and that early on, and how I went from never shooting a concert to being nominated for Best Photographer on the Gulf Coast. I had been invited to a show at a brewery in New Orleans called Zoni Mash by a friend of mine, and she was going to be doing some body painting. She was actually body painting my wife, and she was like, hey, it'd be really cool if you could bring your camera as well to take photos of the body painting. I was like, absolutely. And so while I was there, I saw another photographer who I've now made friends with. Shout out to Whitney with Witness This Photography. And I saw what he was doing, and I was like, man, I started talking to him. That's what he does for a living. I was like, that sounds too cool, because I was a photographer, but I was doing a lot of real estate, doing a lot of events, portraits. It's cool to be able to do photography as a living, but when it's not photography you're super excited about, it still can feel like a job,
right?
And so whenever I started talking to him and realized that, I was like, man, that sounds really cool. So I took the opportunity just to see if I could even take good photos that night. And the photos ended up turning out really good. So I took the photos and I emailed them to the promoter for the show. And they loved them, and they shared them on social media. And not a week later, they contacted me, asked me if I'd come back out for their next show that they were having. And so I went to that one, and then I shot a band at that show, sent the photos to them. They loved it. They said, hey, we're going to be at French Quarter Fest in 2 weeks. Can we pay you $50 to come shoot?
It's like, addictive after that.
You're telling me you're going to pay me $50 to come take photos? I get to bring my camera to a show, and you're going to pay me $50? Hell yes. And so I was able to shoot at French Quarter Fest. And before you know it, I had a little bit of a good portfolio going, even though, it was the same 6 people kind of getting repeated over a lot. And then I just started creating a relationship with that promoter. And then one day I said, hey, do you happen to know anybody, at any of the other theaters in New Orleans? And this is my friend Brooke Banta that runs the media for Fox Pocket. And she goes, actually, yes, I'm good friends with Maya at the Joy Theater. She runs all the media there. I'll connect you. She started a text thread and said, hey, this is the amazing photographer I've been telling you about. She brought me in at the Joy Theater, and then after being able to shoot shows at a place like the Joy Theater on Canal Street in New Orleans, my portfolio then started to really grow into something I was proud of, and gave me the confidence to start reaching out. And then I never said no, especially when people would reach out to me. And I did a lot of free shows. I would say in the first 9 months of me doing concerts, I probably made $700, maybe.
Yeah. That's about right.
But there wasn't a week I didn't shoot a show,
That's
if
how
not
I was
6 shows.
First year I was nonstop.
Yeah.
Nonstop. I work at a chemical plant where I work shift work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would work a 12-hour shift at my job. I would get off at 6:00 in the evening, go straight to the cannery, and I would shoot all night till about midnight.
Well, maybe you're a little bit more dedicated than me, because I was just doing like some real estate shoots during the day, because I at least was a full-time photographer, at that point, but which made it nice because I make my own schedule, and was able to say, yeah, I'll be there, and then reschedule a photo shoot, to a different time. I'm definitely not working a normal full-time job and doing concerts. That is crazy.
I would leave at midnight, 1:00 in the morning, because I have to wake up at like 3:40, 4:00 in the morning to go back to work.
What are you doing, dude?
I would leave the venue and go to the parking lot. I would already have clothes ready. We got showers at work and whatnot, and I would sleep. I would sleep in my little truck.
But that shows how much you wanted it.
Right. It was dedication, and
that's what it takes. You have to want it, because it's not all having fun, hanging backstage, and
I want this to be my career. Sooner or later, I want to go full time And if I ever want to do so, I have to put in the work.
So let's talk about that. How many photographers do you know, or even know of, that are only doing music, photography, and video and making a living from that?
I know Chris Montgomery. I think he is. Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
She is. That is it.
Well, so Samantha, she makes. Well, so I'll say this: I'm not making a living on music photography.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is hard. You have to have a mixture of wedding photography in there, or real estate in there somewhere to even pay the bills.
Yeah. Moral of the story: not a lot.
Right.
And it's super rare. And it seems to me, I've been trying to figure this out because I don't want to go do real estate shoots.
Right.
You know,
That's
I want to
not-
be shooting bands. I want
Right.
to be. Music is one of my passions. Going to live shows. And,
You have the same passion as
yeah.
me right here.
So to be able to be paid to be at these things is a dream come true. And for I've heard a lot of concert photographers, but it's literally 99% of concert photographers. It is not their main money-making gig. And it
Right.
seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me the only ones that are the ones that are going on tour
Right. They are.
with a band.
Right.
You know, and not everybody can do that. I mean, I've got a 10-year-old son at home. I've got a wife. I know that my wife doesn't want me gone for 3 months at a time.
Right.
You know,
That's when you're on tour, you're there for
you're living on a tour bus.
right. And you're gone for a long time. There's some bands that would fly you in and out, let you catch a week break or whatnot. But
And that's what I've been trying to play with
it's
lately.
a single man's
is-
job.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
A lot of people will tell you that. But I've been trying to play with other ideas of how I can make money in this industry aside from just touring. And it be my full-time thing. And something I'm starting to explore a lot more now is selling prints. I feel like I have some really great work that I can make money off of, and that's just reoccurring revenue, you know.
Right.
And so that's one thing I've been trying to put more effort in, is putting together an online shop of some prints that people can buy. Have you thought of anything of how you can make more money doing it? What are you doing?
My way of doing it was video.
Yeah.
The only way I can make a profit doing the passion of concert photography is try to sell video work. Video work is more wanted and needed than photos now, because we're in this vertical style life that we're constantly living, and that's what I do. So now when I shoot for bands, I dual wield. I would have my R5 in one, and I would have this in the other hand, and I will usually give them a good deal that they can't turn down. Be like, hey, let me shoot some videos. I mean, what song are y'all promoting right now? And I will make a highlight video of that. Meanwhile, you get these pictures for free.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, they want it. So
and that's part of the tough part for me, is that I hate shooting video.
It is
I don't
so
I don't hate
time-consuming.
shooting video as much as I hate editing video.
Right.
But it almost takes me out of my creative element. It turns me into, I'm just documenting
Right.
instead of being an artist.
Man, it's a whole nother photography work. I love it. I'm at the computer for a fraction of the time, other than me shooting like a highlight video of one song. I'm probably going to be at that computer for half the day, and it's insane. I might have to get up and walk around, because I'm so frustrated with something. It's like playing Final Fantasy back in the fucking late 90s or some shit, and you're not beating the final boss or something. But yeah, it's every photographer and videographer, we have our own little tactics on how we should, achieve our goals, and that's another thing that keeps us unique. And it's really good, but nothing will ever take away the fact that concert photography that's my passion. I love that rush. I feel like I'm on stage with them. You know?
So let's talk about being unique. How do you set yourself apart as an artist?
So I have some shots where I like really low angles.
Mm-hmm.
Like even these local bars, their stages is not even a stage.
Right.
They're pretty much standing on the floor, and you're eye to eye with them. And I make local bands look like they're on bigger stages. So I would actually get on the floor and act like I'm in a photo pit, and I do stuff like that. And I have some color specs that I like to play with, a lot of monochrome, like bluish, reddish monochrome style edits that I do. And I'll send some of them to you. But
Please
a lot of artists, a lot of musicians love those little Spade image monochrome edits that I send to them, and so that kind of got them a little bit. But I don't know. I just I'll probably have other things that I do that people notice that I don't know that I do. You know what I mean?
Well, I think for me, is early on, I felt like I was almost copying other people, and kind of what is that syndrome? Where you're faking it. But I wanted to set myself apart. It was a big goal of mine. I wanted people to look at an image and say, "Hey, James Cook took that."
Right.
And so I started looking at filters and doing different things. But a lot of concert photographers do that, and so something that I did is I started creating my own effects, and I've started making these what I call handmade optical tools, and they're not. Filters in the sense that you screw them on your lens. They're handmade. You hand hold them in front of the camera. I make most of them out of a copper tube. My favorite one right now that I've been playing with a lot, I call the disco window.
That's going to be a big seller, right?
I think so. I think so. And shout out to @disco-window on Instagram. Please give me a follow. But I take a copper tube and I line the inside of it with disco tiles. And I can tell you, anyone out there, you're more than welcome to take my idea and do it yourself. And you'll quickly learn that you should pay someone else to do it like me, because it is a bitch to put one tile at a time. And it works out to be about 600 tiles on a tube this wide. But it really showed me that an effect that I'd never seen anywhere else. It looks like fireworks. I like to say that I'm capturing the sound you can see.
It is absolutely insane. It actually it kind of like makes the musician stand out even more.
It does.
When they're surrounded by that disco
window.
Filter. Yeah, the little filter.
The disco window.
It's crazy. Which I'm gonna put a picture below or probably up above here in a little bit. And
it's really cool because my favorite thing about it is that sometimes there's things in a shot that you don't want in your shot, whether it be cables on the stage or their red solo cup on the stage. And it allows you to keep a really wide frame of an image, and it just takes the lighting from all over and spreads it while still keeping the middle of the photo like a normal exposed image.
right.
And it allows you to really keep the attention where you want it. And it's a cool effect that, like I said, I invented it. No one had ever done it before.
You got to buy one. If you're a photographer and don't get one of these, you are crazy. Stand out from all the other ones in your local area and get one. Tell everybody where they can buy one at again.
Well, right now I don't have a website for them yet. I'm trying to gauge interest in them. Right now, if you send me a DM on Instagram @disco-window, we can talk. And right now I'm selling them at $150. I've already sold, I think there's 3 of them out there. So there's only 3 other people around the world right now creating disco window shots. So if you want to get in on that early trend and be one of the few people out there that can create these images, shoot me a DM.
Tell everybody what your socials are too.
So I'm @JamesCook88 on Instagram and Facebook, and my website is JC2 Photography. I'm James Cook II. So JC2photography.com.
And I can't thank you enough for coming to hang out with me on the porch,
man. I really appreciate you
man.
having me, man.
And,
this is nice. This is a nice porch.
Yeah, it's the Porch Talk is another unique thing of me, and
there you go.
It's
setting yourself apart, man.
I'm very honored to have you, not only as a friend, but to have you as a guest here, and I can't thank you enough. And
I really appreciate you having me and supporting my work, and that's one thing I love about this industry is that we're all about supporting each other. It's not a competition.
Absolutely not. Well, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. This is Gene Broom, a.k.a. Spade Image, out. Bye, y'all.
See ya.